Okay, let's go ahead and call the December 14th, 2023 Utility Policy Committee meeting to order. Next item on the agenda is to set the agenda. Any changes, corrections, additions?
I would make a motion to accept the agenda.
I'll support.
There's a motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is introduction and guests. And I'm still not in the meeting, John.
Yeah.
I took it from the calendar invite. So I can't see if there's anybody at this online.
Jim Escamilla is here.
Welcome.
Jim Behrman from Stantec is here.
I'm going to log out and log back in. While we're waiting, go around and do introductions just quickly.
Steve Essentially, I'm filling in as city alternate.
I'm Peter Hefner. I'm with Radeveld Hefner, and I am one of the UPC members appointed by the regional committee.
John Crum, Director, Gulf Sewer and Water Authority.
John Lee, Prime Newell, member UPC. James Beggar, City Kalamazoo Public Services Director and City Engineer.
Libby Heine Cogswell, representing the regional commission.
Rich Pearson, Regional Commission.
Jerry Andrews, Charleston Township.
Jim Buxton, region. Mark Elliott.
Thank you. And then online, we already saw Jim Escamilla is attending, and Jim Bierman from Stantec. Anyone else?
Bill Bates here from City Attorney, Kalamazoo.
All right, thank you. Next item is acceptance of the November 9th, 2023 draft minutes. Any changes? Any motion?
I would make a motion to approve the minutes of the November 9th meeting.
Support.
There's a motion and a second to accept the November 9th, 2023 minutes. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment this morning. Anyone present or attending online? Hearing none, we will proceed to unfinished business. The water connection fee, system capacity fee, and this is an update. And all but two have approved the amendment.
Oh,
All
Well,
but one township.
All but one township, and then the city of Kalamazoo. Those were the two yet to do. And those are scheduled for the 18th of December and the 19th, so next Monday and Tuesday. And we have all the signatures but 4. So we'll get those 2 after they take action, and then there are 2 additional that we need to, that weren't in attendance at the meeting yesterday that we need to get. So that's moving along.
The township that has not approved it, that did go in front of them, and there was no question with the language. There was a question on the form, and we changed it for them.
Yeah.
The attorney indicates that it's acceptable to do that, to have them have the form a little bit different, as long as the language is identical, which it is.
So my goal is to get the other 2 signatures and, well, the 2 signatures that have been approved ahead of your Monday meeting and get you the original form. We have a goal to get it all.
Okay.
So we don't have a lot of pages in this amendment.
Yeah.
And then after the city, then it would go to Rich.
Okay.
So, okay. The next item is the capital improvements, and this is on the agenda for action. Existing neighborhood development projects, policy guidelines. That is out at for the city attorney review, and we haven't gotten the final comments on that. This is not pressing, so this is not a huge deal to take the formal action next month after we get that review and know if there's any changes. I'm hearing that significant changes are not anticipated. And James, you outlined a process that will likely follow the adoption of that policy. You could share that.
Sure, yeah, I can talk to it. So the existing utility policy committee, non-emergency, existing development neighborhood extension policy that the subcommittee worked on. Our intention would be to take that and kind of model that into Kalamazoo city policy. So we've got city policy forms that are a little different in, form and nature of how they go together. We would then take those cost components of this policy, put those into Appendix D, and we would anticipate doing that around May and bringing that forward to UBC when we bring our annual Appendix D forward. And then likely for FY25, we bring this out of Appendix D and put it into the ordinance so that it's got, a little bit better foundation under it in terms of, uniformity across, charge and everything. And because it's standardized. And so that also speaks to kind of the progression that we've done with our standard service connection at $6,000 fee or $3,000 for a partial. That started as a component in Appendix D, and then as it was standardized in uniform, then we just put it in the ordinance because it didn't change per job site. It was just a standard set.
James, can you explain it? Appendix D, is that like where you have all the different rates and all of that?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, so that's like all the different jobs we do and all the different parts and pieces that go into doing a job.
Okay.
And we update that annually based on our annual average cost and our current bid packages for all those materials that we procure.
And Bill, you're online. I didn't mean to speak on your behalf. Is there anything else you wanted to add from the city perspective? He's muted. I don't know if that's. We can continue. So item C is the utility financial policy. And,
Peter,
okay,
I got together with Steve and Jeff and we discussed the utility financial policy. And the two primary components, which would be the rate of return, or the coverage ratio, I'm sorry, and then the operating reserve. We discussed them and we agreed that we would do some research and then do some defining and then come back together and look at how are these balances calculated. Because within the city's audit, it's calculated there, and so we should define this is how it should be calculated for the coverage ratio, and then the reserve, how that is calculated as far as the balance, and then what would be an appropriate coverage ratio target, and as well as a operating reserve for the system. And so we've started the process, kind of defined some things that we think we need to do. And so then when we come back together, we can make a little more progress. And our goal is to pull this information together over the next several months and then come to the UPC and say, this is what we think is appropriate, because we have input into those concepts, and then perhaps that be brought to the city to say, yeah, that is the utility financial policy that'll be used before the next rate calculation is the goal. So Steve was there, and if I missed something or if I misspoke, by all means, correct me.
No, you covered it.
okay. Any questions? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks to all, Jeff and Steve.
Okay, item 6D, the 2024 water rates. That's an update. That's City of Kalamazoo has accepted the rate proposal for first reading. Second reading is scheduled for next Monday.
Yeah, this coming Monday, yeah.
Is there a need for a UPC representative to be there? I understand there was at the first reading. Is that helpful?
Yeah, I think it's helpful. We had, Chair Libby was there during the December 4th first reading. I think it would continue to be helpful to have UPC membership represented at the meeting.
Okay.
This will be our third public presentation on the matter. We've had about 4.5 hours to date of public engagement on this, live public engagement on this. This is a very serious topic for the City Commission. I think it's a very serious topic for the public, and there's been, a lot of engagement and a lot of discussion on these issues. So I think it would certainly help to have UPC representation at that meeting.
I have it on the schedule to go.
You do, okay.
That's good for that, and then also for the contract amendment. Which
Yeah.
it's on the agenda. Any other questions? Item number 6E is the wellhead protection.
We rolled that out to the townships and, I unfortunately left all my notes at the office because I got called out to a different meeting last night and, we've had some of them adopt, the townships have adopted, some charter townships have done first readings. And the second readings will be coming up. There's one township that couldn't fit it on their agenda, so we're doing it early January. So by the end of January, everybody will have adopted it. And we can get that program going. It's been very positively accepted amongst all the boards that I've been at.
So Oshtemo's was Tuesday night?
No, Oshtemo is.
Oh, there's January 9th. Okay.
And John went to
Village of Richland.
And Cooper. As well as Charleston Township wants to have the same program, even though they're not part of the water agreement. Jerry's indicated that he thinks that would be a good idea. I mean, it's just a good idea. So we're gonna, at the first of the year, start working with them and giving that.
And then Ross would follow after they would
Yeah.
become a contract signatory. Okay. All right, 2024 work tasks. We haven't prepared anything to work on today. This is for next year. Maybe, you know, it's a short meeting essentially today. We should have brought eggnog or something.
Yeah, I would propose that, for 2024, you know, we're up above, you can see we've accomplished some things, which is great. We're coming to the end of the calendar year, but I would propose for, 2024, perhaps, someone goes through the contract and identifies those things that UPC is responsible for. I think we started off there. I just don't know that we've gone back and revisited it and perhaps put together, here's the other things we need to do. Let's do this in year 4, this in year 3, this in year 2, and come back perhaps with the new year so we can put some more tasks on our table, get them done, and you know, keep things running smoothly. I'm willing to put together a summary, but I don't have to. Someone else is, by all means, could go through the contract and do such a thing.
You had sort of started that early on, so you might be well positioned to do that.
I'll try to make it as brief as I can. I think last time it was still pages of things, but I think I'll just bullet it out and bring it back. And then, you know, if we have a question, we can have a reference of where to look.
Yeah, maybe like the task and if they're yearly or
Sure.
whatever.
I will plan to do that for our next meeting.
Okay.
And then if we see I miss something, we can add it and maybe use it as a roadmap of what we're trying to accomplish over the next year or next 4 years or what have you.
That sounds very good. And I would ask that if it's done in the next few weeks, that we could go ahead and send it out to the UPC to have, so we could start to take a look at it even before it goes into a packet.
And then I'm not suggesting this tonight or today, this morning. You got me thinking about eggnog. Is because we've done a heavy lift in the last 2 years and to set this whole thing up. And so unless there's big projects that come in that we have to deal with, the amount of work we have to do here is going to go down potentially. And just thinking about if we go to, you know, every other month or quarterly, I mean, the contract says at least quarterly, so we can't go any less. But we don't want to have monthly meetings where there's nothing happening. So let's just be aware of that in the next 6 months. Say.
Perhaps when you see what's on the agenda, you know, you could say, do we have to approve a delay or Could we ask Libby to,
We can, what do our bylaws say in terms of canceling meetings? Sometimes the chair can cancel.
I don't know, but I can look real quick and perhaps if I have.
We'll have a better idea when we go through the list.
Yeah, we don't,
But some of that could be committee work. Versus-
and we don't need to solve that right now. Just-
Okay.
it's- Again, because today, this morning, we don't have very much on the plate. We don't want to have a, we're. Have small meetings.
I will check that out, come back.
Next item on the agenda is the professional services invoices, and Mayor Anderson's not here, so somebody else needs to take it.
I will make the motion, to pay the invoice, print a new Hoff invoice 78445 in the amount of $1,166.05.
Off the board.
There's a motion to approve invoice 78455. And second
Steve,
by Steve, and any discussion? All those in favor?
aye.
Abstain.
Motion passes,
You mean,
4 to, 0 with 1 abstention and, 2 absences. Is that right? I see the numbers. Okay,
I'll make the motion for Bradeville Hefner, invoice 6163 in the amount of 2611.70, along with invoice 6204 in the amount of 991.70.
I have a different, amount on one of the invoices. That might have been the former one. He pulled out the biosolids work that relates to the wastewater.
Yeah. So this initially had something that went directly to Jones. This was modified.
That was not related to water,
Right.
so we pulled it out.
That one right there was modified. Libby, what's the number on the modified one? It would have been for the month of
I just handed it out.
October.
So she wrote this on it though.
Let's see here.
That's what amount I think you read.
So these are the same. So this is fine. This one,
So it's invoice number 6204 and
it's 6163, which is these are all the
I
same.
tried for you, Peter. I tried.
Yeah.
let me pull it up in an
Yeah,
email.
they're all the same. Okay. So we'll get you a new number.
So shall we just approve 6204 at this point for 991?
You can, and then we'll have to bring the other one
I'll
back.
bring the other one back. Okay. So my motion, amended motion, is to approve the Bradeville Hefner invoice 6204 for $991.70.
I'll second that.
Okay. Was a motion by John, second by Steve to approve invoice 6204. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Dave,
Motion passes, 4 to 0, 1 abstention and 2 absences. Okay. Thank you. Committee member, alternate, attendee, guest comments. So,
they have it.
or did you find it or?
No.
Okay. Jeff, any comment this morning?
Just wish everybody happy holidays. Congratulations on your career.
Thank you.
Absolutely look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anna? Thank you. Any comments from those in attendance remotely?
All set. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Jim.
Good morning. This is Sherry, not feeling well today. I wanted to share, I learned some information and I'm not sure of the validity of it and whether or not it's possible, but there might be another wellhead that's privately owned in Oshtemo and registered with the state. Tom, I think I'll reach out to you independently, whether or not this is even a possibility. It came up in a discussion regarding a piece of property that may be transferred soon. So it was a curious learning. I'd not heard of such a thing.
Yeah, well, just get with me and we can go into the Eagles database and figure out what it is and whether we should be concerned.
Thank you, Sherry.
This brought a question up to me, we have a trailer park, they have 4 wells, they're classified as illegal as a type 1. They asked us to take it over, but we didn't. They run it totally. Do we ever want to consider them?
I mean, those are, what are they, type 1 non-community?
Yeah,
There's different levels of wells. There's residential, there's municipal that we're dealing with, and there's in between where it only serves X number of people.
yeah, they're over 25 people, they'd be a type 1.
So they run it on their own, they run it privately, they have reporting and testing requirements through Eagle, so they're being watched. In terms of the water that's coming out of the ground and being provided to people. You know, so in Ross Township, there's one now, right? That's
Well, it's not quite up and running yet.
yeah, it's an apartment complex for you. It's mobile home. It's not unusual to have that. Or more dense or more users in an area that's outside the water system. But they're not just rogue, they're being paid attention to. And I don't know that you would want to make that in Charleston Township municipal, because it's only supplying that user.
Watch water to next door business has for years since they had a leaky underground storage tank, and we get tested quarterly for bacteria, and I think the first year it's alcohol and bacteria. So yeah, we're health department monitors that as well.
Thank you. Peter, any?
No comment, thank you.
Sorry, Amy.
Yeah, it's okay. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. See you guys in January.
James.
Nothing bad.
Just So our next meeting is January 11th, and John Gibson informed us that there's a possibility that they'll have the audio visual system updated by then, and if they do, this meeting will be held in the back of the room. And the AV system can be a little more automatic and efficient. Do you want to add anything, John?
No, not really.
Okay.
There'll be away lights in the ceiling, so we don't have to like speak in, a certain direction, so it'll pick up pretty much everything in the room.
And then wish everybody a healthy, happy, safe holiday season. And see you next year. We've exhausted the agenda and we are adjourned in half hour.